Hour 2 of the program, ladies and gentlemen, here on 790 The Ticket. Tobin and Leroy, we take you up until 10 o'clock today. We'll talk to John Crotty coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Juan Pierre will join us in the final hour of today's program. JP, the champ. We will talk to him, and we got a little damages done, my friend, coming up this hour as well. But it is hour 2 as the Miami Dolphins, they are gearing up for a swing to the West Coast. And we will get to headlines here a little bit from Brian Flores as he was asked the old question, Leroy, who will your quarterback be this week?
Who's going to be your quarterback on Sunday?
I mean, look, we're still going through corrections of the game from yesterday. So, as a staff, we normally kind of start talking about this, this evening. I mean, Fitz, I thought we moved the ball, pretty efficiently yesterday. So, look, I understand where everybody's coming from with Tua, and I get all that. At the same time, he's a young player. He's coming off the injury, so we'll make the decision on the starter. But I mean, I would presume that's going to be Fitzpatrick.
All right. Not like a firm endorsement, Leroy.
Hold on. If you want to have questions, this is the time that you could have the most questions. Because any other time that question has come up, Fitz is the quarterback.
Yep.
Now, after 5 seconds of silence,
long
collecting
pause.
his thoughts,
Yep.
He mentioned all of the hot topics.
Yep.
We'll discuss it tonight. Dude,
Yep.
You know if you're going to do it.
Yep.
They were probably already, and in fact, when they have the meetings, right, it's something they probably announce before Wednesday so that they let the team know. The other thing is, he mentioned the injury.
Yep.
So if Tua is 100%, there's no need to mention his injury.
True.
Which means that he's probably still fighting through some things with that injury.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. So somebody brought that up, somebody asked about that because he did mention the injury, and they wanted to know, like, well, is he physically good? Like, is everything fine with him? And this is what Flores had to say as far as Tua and nobody pressuring him into starting Tua.
No, he's checked all the boxes from a medical standpoint. He has. I think we just look. I mean, the honest thing for me is if it was my kid and he had a serious injury like that, I wouldn't want his coach to be in a rush to throw him in there because of media pressure or anything like that. So that's kind of how I approach this situation and really all situations with the players. They, essentially they are my kids. So, there's no one's going to pressure me into doing anything. And when we feel like he's ready to go, we'll put him in.
What do you make of that, Leroy?
I think they have a plan. They were answering questions to stick to that plan.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what that plan is. But keep in mind, here's the thing that bugs me about this. Before the draft, everybody was like, hey, man, even if we draft Tua, we can sit him for the first year and it won't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everybody agreed with this, right? No big deal. Sit him and let him learn behind Fitz. Sit him and let him heal, get to 100%. Soon as they said, with the 5th pick in the NFL draft, the Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa, right? What did everybody say? Woo, gotta play him. Right.
Leroy,
So-
we didn't even have to wait that long. All we had to do was wait for Tobin to be smiling on the Zoom call.
Right,
Good to know.
right.
Hey, I'm sorry.
So,
I ruined it.
So, if the Dolphins have that plan, which everybody was cool with, why is everybody pissed off that Tua isn't playing? When you all no. Everybody from reporters to fans to everybody we talked to, including you,
I'll tell you what changed it for me, though.
Well, there's nothing that changes it. You have a plan, you stick to it.
I'm telling you, something changed it. Hey, Robbie, hit the ID. Here's what changed it for me. You're going to think this is ridiculous. I understand.
Yes, I am. Because
But
I was with all those conversations before the draft.
Think what you want, though. He is the number 2 quarterback on the team, which means Fitz, who's 37 and running around there like a Looney Tune out on the field, he is probably a very likely injury or hit away from playing anyway.
Dude.
And once they got rid of Josh Rosen, I was under the impression, physically he's good to go, because we all know this sport. Usually you wouldn't have the confidence in a guy's physical ability if you knew he was a hit away from replacing the guy who's in front of him. So once Josh Rosen was off the roster, I thought all the physical questions were probably out the window. Otherwise, why wouldn't you keep Josh Rosen? You already were paying him anyway.
So let me get this straight. You are now making assumptions about backup quarterback.
Well, it's not making an assumption.
Yes, you are.
How isn't that logical? If you
No, they have Tua as the backup simply because he's the backup, and in most cases the backup does not play.
Most cases, but he could.
Oh, okay, he could, but you cross that bridge when you get there. The plan is the plan, and I don't understand how you were fine with the plan before you got Tua, and now you're against it.
Okay, but it's not that I'm against it. It's just that if the plan was to rest him because you wanted him to be super duper healthy for whenever he played, no questions about his health, I could understand that. But if that was the case, then I wouldn't want him to have any shot of playing this year. I would have just kept Josh Rosen and made Josh Rosen the backup and made 2 of the 3.
Okay, but you're making the assumption that he's healthy.
Yes, I am now because he's the backup.
Really?
Yes.
And the offensive line's not as bad as we thought it would be. With
No, that I'll give you, Robbie. But if they're sticking to the plan, all I'm saying is this.
Week 7.
If they're sticking to their original plan, what's the problem? I have more respect for them to not fall for it, right? And change their mind about the young quarterback, and they go through that process, especially with him, than if they just decide, let's switch quarterbacks. Because the other thing you have to consider is, okay, playing Tua does what to this team?
I don't understand the question.
Because the defense is the problem. It's not the quarterback. The quarterback is not the issue here.
Maybe, but we've had also a couple of games where the defense has been bad, but they've also, because they've had some big let-ups in key spots, but they've also put the offense in some positions and they haven't been able to take advantage. And that we've also seen where that can wear down a defense. You get all these stops, you put your offense in a position to succeed, you settle for 3, and then eventually your defense just breaks. We've seen that in a couple games this year.
Okay, here. Texter brings up a point. So if they had kept Rosen, you would have been good with sitting Tua the whole season.
I would have been more under the impression of what you're saying is that they don't think he's physically ready. They're trying.
It's a backup quarterback.
Wait,
guess what?
But your starter is 40.
Here, let me give you a perfect scenario. Who's the backup quarterback to Tom Brady?
This
right
year?
now? I think
No,
it's Blaine Gabbert.
no, I'm talking about when he last year.
Hoyer?
Stidham.
That guy sucks.
Right. Okay. Like, why isn't he the quarterback? Like, you have other options. Just because he's the backup quarterback doesn't mean that if he gets hurt, if Fitzpatrick gets hurt, that they're going to put Tua in.
But here's my point. Okay, I'll give you an example that just happened this season with the Chargers. Okay, the Chargers' idea was to start Tyrod Taylor, and
Right.
then he had a fluke injury where
Right.
the doctor stabs him in the ribs, and all of a sudden Herbert's the starter.
Okay, but guess what?
If you would have had
Wait. You got one thing you're avoiding to mention. He didn't have any health problems.
But that's what I'm saying. If he did, I bet you ass he wouldn't be the backup. I bet you if Stidham was coming off an Achilles injury, I know that's a bit of a stretch, but let's just say he had some massive injury that he was rehabbing, and they just wanted the talent and the asset on the roster. I bet you ass they would have had some backup quarterback, not him.
Somebody said, and Leroy, you're making the assumption that he's not healthy. It's literally the same thing.
What do you make?
No.
What do you make of what the coach is saying?
Me assuming that he's not healthy yet is because he's had a serious hip surgery. Okay? And so if the plan was to sit him all along, then maybe they aren't telling you where he is with his health. He was on the injured list. He's been on the injured list this year.
Tom Brady was on the injured list for 20 years. Fugazi.
Okay, he's a rookie.
Let me ask you this, though. What do you make of what the coach said? Because he saw the weird pause. He's touching on the bases, but now he's mentioning the injuries. So what do you make of what he's saying publicly?
It's they have their reasoning for not wanting to play Tua. We don't know what that reasoning is, and he's not telling you. That's all that is. So he's basically. Somebody says Leroy really doesn't like Tua. No. Oh, God.
Robbie, why don't you give us some headlines?
And so that wasn't the only notable news from this Dolphins press conference. We got a big game on Saturday, Miami against Clemson, and of course, big Christian Wilkins, Clemson alum, big-time Clemson alum. He gave his prediction.
South Florida wants to know what your Clemson-Miami prediction is.
Y'all trying to get me? No, I'm going with my alma mater. Of course, it's a Clemson win for sure. That's how I'm rolling.
Oh, I thought he was going to say something like a steamroll.
He probably thinks that.
Hey.
Oh, you're backing up the boat?
No.
No. Hey, wait. I'm going to tell you like this. If Miami gets off to the start that they did against both Florida State and Louisville with the hurry-up offense and stuff like that, Clemson offensively hasn't played as good as they played all year, last couple of years. So maybe the fact that they have to play a little catch-up, maybe that throws them off a little bit.
I just hope we score a touchdown.
Really?
96-3 in 2 games, 0 touchdowns.
I'm so excited for this game. I really am. I think they got a shot. They've been explosive, man.
I'll reserve my thoughts for Friday.
I just stated what I thought, right? And it's centered around what you're saying. But Clemson's really good, dude.
Clemson's the cute killer.
Hey, Clemson's really good. So let's not just throw yourself in the mix with the elite of the elite. Yes, they do have a chance. And the only reason why I'm giving Miami a chance is because I've seen that offense execute at a high level, and it's tired a lot of defenses, and it has helped them be able to run the ball, and a lot of things go well when they're executing that offense. If they can pull that off, I'd like to see what Clemson does to counter that.
Is it Rod, do you know what the fan situation is? Like, are they doing like Georgia where they're like listening to no rules, or what is South Carolina? How are they rolling at Death Valley?
I sent you guys the pictures before. I mean, they have, I'm sure it's like 20-25% capacity, but they're all like coordinated. It's like they're all coordinated, like 2 fans and then 6 feet of bench, and then 2 fans and 6 feet of bench. It's like eerily, like, you know, you could almost draw a line down the stadium where the fans are sitting.
Right.
I can ask Dave.
Okay.
He has these, you know, he has season tickets, and what he did is he pushed his tickets to next year, and he's just buying individual tickets. But he had 4 season tickets.
You talking about for the Canes?
Yeah.
No,
This is Clemson.
But it's in Clemson. It's at South Carolina.
Oh, okay. Well,
I know what the Canes are doing. I think the Canes are
Right,
it was
okay.
13, 19,000,
Yeah,
something like
they're
that.
copying the Dolphins.
Yeah. So, but I wonder at these, some of these pro. You see the Georgia fans this weekend.
I gotta tell you, it looked like it was like 70,000 people in there.
Yeah, Georgia was following no rules, so I was
I
wondering.
said, wait a minute, there's space. Isn't that the walkways?
Yeah. I'm like, so I was just wondering what Clemson's doing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Wasn't there
20,000.
a university that kicked the students out?
Yes,
I
it
don't
was.
think
Yes.
I don't think the Canes
Yeah.
are allowed to have students. I don't think the Canes.
No, they kicked the university kicked the students out because they wasn't acting right.
It might have been SMU.
Oh man. All right.
What do you expect? What do you expect?
I'll send you guys a picture
listen,
of Clemson.
if you want to know how college kids are going to act, you see how Tobin tells his college stories. That's about it.
We would mock COVID so hard if I was in college right now.
And with that nose,
More
you
like-
sucking up all the COVID.
More like Brovid.
Back after this.